If you're a person who follows world events, you must have seen the controversial opening ceremony at the Paris Olympics. Everyone's discussing whether this particular scene was a mockery of the Last Supper and Christianity. As a show that takes Jesus' ministry into its focus, The Chosen and its creator Dallas Jenkins responded in a surprising way. Let's see what happened. During the Paris Olympics opening ceremony, there was a moment where the camera cut to the French DJ Barbara Butch, who was wearing a blue dress with a silver headdress. When the camera panned out, we saw that there were drag queens on both of her sides. Then, a nearly naked man painted in blue appeared at the center of a dinner plate surrounded by food. This was a portrayal of a god in Greek mythology, Dionysus, who is considered the god of winemaking, fertility, and vegetation. He sang as people around him danced and the stage turned into a runway with all the models walking across. Now, from the very first second this happened at the opening ceremony, it has been receiving backlash over backlash because people thought that the scene was a mockery of the Last Supper. Both the biblical event itself and the painting by Leonardo da Vinci where Jesus is depicted in the middle of a table with 12 of his disciples by his side. The French Bishops' Conference was among the first to release a press statement on the issue. The organization, which represents France's Catholic bishops, said that the ceremony included scenes of mockery and derision of Christianity, and that they were hurt by the outrageousness and provocation of certain scenes. Others have agreed and continued criticizing the event organizers for insulting Christian people and mocking a very central moment in Christianity. People on social media had varying opinions though. Some users agreed that it was a mockery. This isn't art, it's offensive provocation. The Last Supper with drags, it's a slap in the face to religious beliefs, historical respect, and decency. I lived half my life in France, I'm appalled. While others thought that the event did not reference the Last Supper at all. The gold medal for misinformation goes to those who turned Feast of Greek Gods on Mount Olympus inspired drag performance at the Paris Olympics into a supposed mockery of the Last Supper. Let's celebrate creativity, not spread misinformation. The event organizers themselves had a statement. The artistic director of the ceremony, Thomas Jolly, said that the Last Supper was not his inspiration for the segment and argued that the idea was to have a pagan celebration connected to the gods of Olympus. You will never find in me a desire to mock and denigrate anyone. Later, the Paris 2024 spokesperson actually apologized to anyone offended by the segment. Clearly, there was never an intention to show disrespect to any religious group. On the contrary, I think with Thomas Jolly, we really did try to celebrate community tolerance. If people have taken any offense, we are of course really sorry. Now, you can think whatever you want to think about this and do share your opinions in the comments, but I will move on to how The Chosen has responded to all of this. If you're following my channel, you'll know that The Chosen Season 5 will include the famous Last Supper, the final meal Jesus shared with his apostles before his crucifixion. In all 4 of the canonical Gospels, this event is mentioned and has a very important place in Christianity. Dallas Jenkins and the rest of the cast and crew have been filming the major scene for days and were actually being pretty discreet about it. Dallas only shared bits and pieces of it and didn't show us the whole table until after the Olympics opening ceremony. Dallas finally shared a full picture of his depiction of the Last Supper in The Chosen Season 5 with a comment that said, "Is this better than the Olympics imagery?" Not only did we get the first official look at The Chosen's depiction of the major event, but also an insight into what Dallas thinks about what happened at the opening ceremony. Commenters applauded him and the picture of Jesus with beloved John on his right side and the betrayer Judas on his left, with the rest of the apostles sitting across a U-shaped table. This is the real table and not the one from the opening of the Olympic Games. Love the timing of this. Upgrade from the Olympics recreation. The true Last Supper. There is art and art. In this case is respectful, sensitive, and reflective. Amazing. Congrats, guys. Even Jonathan Rumi commented and answered Dallas's question and said empathetically yes. I mean, even when I posted Dallas's picture on YouTube, you guys flooded the comments with your thoughts on the Olympic Games controversy. Now, this is the real Last Supper. I like this a whole lot more than the Olympic one. The opposite of the satanic Olympics opening ceremonies recently held in Paris, France. The Last Supper will be included in The Chosen Season 5 towards the end of the season. It is expected to be a very long scene. I personally think it will be the subject of an entire episode. I honestly cannot wait how this section from the Gospel of John will be brought to life by the actors. Truly, truly I say to you that one of you will betray me. The disciples began looking at one another, at a loss to know of which one he was speaking. Lying back on Jesus' chest was one of his disciples whom Jesus loved. So Simon Peter nodded to this disciple and said to him, "Tell us who it is of whom he is speaking." He then simply leaned back on Jesus' chest and said to him, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus then answered, "That man is the one for whom I shall dip the piece of bread and give it to him." So when he had dipped the piece of bread, he took and gave it to Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. After this, Satan then entered him. Therefore Jesus said to him, "What you are doing, do it quickly." Now, none of those reclining at the table knew for what purpose he had said this to him. For some were assuming, since Judas kept the money box, that Jesus was saying to him, "Buy the things we need for the feast," or else that he was to give something to the poor. So after receiving the piece of bread, he left immediately, and it was night. Then the season most likely will end with Judas's betrayal and Jesus' arrest in the Garden of Gethsemane. If you want to learn more about what will happen in Season 5, check out this video.